students, so today we'll discuss the first chapter from your history book, The Rise of Nationalism in Europe. See the picture which is shown in your book in the first page of the chapter is talk about the people of Europe and America marching in a long train and offering homage to the Statue of Liberty as they pass it. The torch of enlightenment was carried by a female figure in one hand and the Charter of Rights of Man in the other. Now, if second one is on the earth in the foreground lie the shattered remains of the symbol of the absolutist institutions. The people of the world are grouped in the distinct nations identified through their flags and the national costumes. The procession was led by the United States and the Switzerland, followed by France and Germany. Following the German people are the people of Austria, the kingdom of the two Sicilies, Lombardy, Poland, England, Ireland, Hungary and Russia. In the last, if we see from the heavens above, Christ, saints and the angels gaze upon the scene. They have been used by the artist to symbolize the fraternity among the nations of the world. So during the 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought huge changes in the political and the mental world of Europe. The end results of these changes were the emergence of the nation state. French Revolution and the idea of nation. In 1789, nationalism came with the French Revolution and the political constitutional changes led to the transfer of the sovereignty from the monarchy to a body of the French citizens. Various measures and practices were introduced, such as the ideas of la patrie. La patrie means the fatherland, and the le citoyen means the citizen. A new French flag, the tricolor, was chosen to replace the former one. Democracy destroyed in France by the Napoleon and the Civil Code of 1804, known as the Napoleonic Code, did away with all privileges based on birth, established equality before the law, and secured the right to property. Now, the making of the nationalism in Europe. Germany, Italy and Switzerland were divided into the kingdoms, duchies and the cantons whose rulers had their autonomous territories. The aristocracy was the dominant class on the continent politically and socially. The majority of the population was made up of the peasantry. Industrialization began in England in the second half of the 18th century. New social groups came into being, a working class population and the middle classes made up of the industrialists, businessmen and the professionals. The next is, what did the liberal nationalism stand for? The term liberalism derives from the Latin root liber, meaning free. The right to vote and to get elected was granted exclusively to property owning men. Men without property and all women were excluded from the political rights. In 1834, a customs union or the Zollverein was formed at the initiative of the Prussia and joined by most of the German states. The union abolished tariff barriers and reduced the number of the currencies from over 30 to 2. A new conservatism after 1815. In 1815, European governments were driven by a spirit of the conservatism. Conservatives believed in the monarchy, the church, social hierarchies, property, and that the family should be preserved. A modern army, an efficient bureaucracy, a dynamic economy, the abolition of the feudalism and the serfdom could strengthen the autocratic monarchies of Europe. In 1815, representatives of the European powers, Britain, Russia, Prussia, and Austria, meet in Vienna to draw up a settlement for Europe. The Bourbon dynasty was restored to power and France lost the territories it had annexed under Napoleon. The major issues taken up by the liberal nationalists who criticized the new conservative order was freedom of the press. So that's it for now. In my next explanation, I'll talk about the revolutionaries.